Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I, the pure consciousness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom to human race and to humankind. I, the pure consciousness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom to human race and to humankind. I, the pure consciousness, or the self-awareness, the pure self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom to the one who is entrusted and has certain type of receptivity for the truth. You see? So I would start that a couple of people became very interested in the term consciousness or the sense of self-awareness, because if you see, there have been, for last numerous decades, there have been numerous thousands of studies around the world on consciousness. Basically, studies means science does not do miracles. It's not possible for science. Science does not do that. Science is not capable. So when we say there have been studies conducted throughout the globe for numerous and numerous years on consciousness, it's basically the human intellect or human mind is trying to grasp something through the intellect or through the mind, or the human mind or the human intellect is trying to explain something which already exists out there. If you if you fully understand what I mean, the human mind or human intellect basically trying to explain something which already exists out there. This is what science does. Science either tries to explain something which already exists out there, or science uses which already is to bring the invention in our lifestyle. Science uses which already is given to us by the nature and then tries to bring something out of it as a product or as a commodity the human can use. You see, but science is not capable, no matter how much advancement science has gained, science is not capable to basically bring something out of nowhere. If you understand what I'm saying, science cannot perform that kind of miracle. Science cannot bring something out of nowhere. You must know that. So, as I said, that we are very profoundly and we are very, very clearly going to look. We are going to look into it very profoundly and very closely. That the people, a couple of people have inquired. I didn't get around it because I'm busy, but however, I am never busy to answer the questions. You see, I'm never busy enough to answer the questions. I am never busy enough to not make time for people who are seeking, who are the seekers of truth and open to it. You see. So they inquired about consciousness and self-awareness because they have been reading it, and also they have been watching the retreats from different people they understand as wise people, which is just fine. They are not making any mind about anything. However, they remain open, and they wanted to know what my perception of consciousness or self-awareness is, and what science, how science basically is connected to consciousness. So as far as science is not connected to consciousness. That's basically in the nutshell I'm telling you. Science, as I said not long ago, the science is trying to justify or trying to explain through human intellect something, a phenomena which is already out there. Whatever the findings of science is, are the markers, what you understand as words. You see, science mostly is based on concepts. Science mostly is based on theories, but science has no concrete answer of anything. So science basically cannot comprehend or justify self-awareness or consciousness. Because whether science exists or does not exist, whether science, you see, look at the things as they are happening. Check this out. Whether science exists or science does not exist, whether scientific studies exist or not existed, whether scientific studies are being conducted throughout the world on consciousness or not, consciousness is always there. You see, that in a nutshell what consciousness is. The existence of consciousness. The existence of consciousness does not, again I'm repeating, the existence of consciousness does not depend on the existence of science. You see, consciousness is totally independent. Consciousness is not depending on science in any shape or form. Consciousness is totally independent and is always there, whether there is science or there is no science. Consciousness was there when there was no science. It took you 50,000 years to evolve, basically, and get to this point where you have all these commodities of luxuries and you have all these inventions. This is the peak. This is the max of your evolution as far as science. It cannot go any further. But before 50,000 years ago, when you started your journey as a human being, before that, consciousness was always there. Consciousness is always here. Consciousness would be always. There is nothing, no other. There is just consciousness. You see. So I basically also mentioned, as I said, that I look into something through different perspective, but in the end, when I try to zoom in or when I try to zero in, it basically it basically indicates, it basically shows and expresses the same concrete reality through different perspectives. So it's very significant for you to pay extreme attention and focus to my words, because it indicates or it points out to the same concrete reality and truth. Science is a term, a word which has no meanings. When science was not existing, consciousness was there. When you were not even existing, consciousness were there. When your ideas, concepts, theories, everything what you understand, either science or its counterparts, when they didn't exist, consciousness was there. It's always there, it always has, it always would be. So that is another definition of consciousness. Now check this out. I have mentioned in numerous retreats in the past a name. And the name of the person is Rupert Spira, an Englishman from England, basically. An Englishman from England, Rupert Spira, I have mentioned. So the reason I am mentioning him right now, because he is a mentor of mine. I have learned tremendous amount of truth from Rupert Spira. He is a mentor of mine. And he is also a teacher of Advaita Vedanta, which I am not going to get in right now because I want to keep this message as simple as possible, not with the terms or the words from Sanskrit or science. I want to keep it as simple as humanly possible so everyone can understand. However, he's a teacher of Advaita Vedanta, and I have learned tremendous amount of truth from him. So he was educated throughout the best schools in the world, however, as far as the regular level of education goes for an average person. So, however, he was educated throughout the best schools in England. And he was educated in Oxford, which is the top schools in England. There is a reason I'm mentioning. He was in a seminar in Oxford University with a bunch of other people. And the professor or the lecturer, the person who was delivering the message, also an Oxford qualified or Oxford educated, whatever the terms you want to attach, means a very learned man, basically, said in that seminar among numerous people that the one who thinks that consciousness exists outside of the mind or the body, their thoughts and their ideas must be thrown in trash, or their ideas or their thinking is trash, basically. This is a huge claim. This person who was qualified from Oxford and was now a professor or a lecturer in the same university, Oxford, he's saying that the people who think that consciousness exists outside of your mind or body, their ideas must be trashed. That's a first of all, I don't know who this professor is by name, however, it was told by Rupert Spira. So I'm repeating it, and then I'll mention why am I repeating this. Okay, so first of all, that what you state in front of anybody, I'm giving you pure wisdom, what you state in front of anybody, it has no meanings. It's your point of view. That professor, the person who went through all this education in Oxford, must know that. Must know that. It's common sense. What you are stating has no value. No matter you were educated from Oxford or Harvard, it does not have any value. It's your point of view. It's simple. So you cannot just say the people who think that their ideas must be trashed. It's very arrogant of you. You see what I'm saying? It's extremely arrogant of you. And the teacher, my mentor Rupert Spira, was also present in the seminar. So when he was after his ignorant and arrogant debate, when he started taking the questions from the audience, Rupert Spira stood and stated a question to this professor to whom he didn't have a concrete answer. However, I'll state the question from Rupert Spira. Rupert Spira said to this professor that is it not fair to say that every individual in this room, including yourself and me, first are aware of themselves? In order to acknowledge anything, they are first aware of themselves. Isn't it a fair thing to say? And of course it's a fair thing to say no matter how you look at it. You know why it makes so much sense without even thinking? Because you know deep down that no matter whatever the amount of conditioning you went through, it is the truth and it is the fact. You know deep down. This is something that you know. This is something that you know, and this is something you know very clearly, very profoundly inside of you. So he stated the question that, isn't it not true that in order to perceive anything, first you have to be aware? Not aware of something or not aware by something, just simply aware. And of course, the answer is, of course, yes. No matter how hard you try or bring your Oxford education in the process, the answer is, you cannot perceive anything if you are not self-aware. You understand what I'm saying? It's not possible. No matter how hard you look at it, it is not possible. You cannot perceive anything until unless you are self-aware. You see what I'm saying? Self-awareness is not what you are doing or putting extraordinary effort to become self-aware. Just by being, you are self-aware. Please know that. That's what consciousness is. Once you successfully reprogram yourself, or once you successfully rewire yourself from the lies and disband yourself from the lies, the more closer you go to self-awareness or consciousness, the more closer you get to it. You see, you start almost living in it. You rest over there for the most part of your day. When you have to function, you come out in the experience. You see, this is an experience. This is what you understand. This is an experience which is happening. You understand? I hope you understand. Anyway, now, so first of all, I mentioned Rupert Spira answer to this teacher or the professor. Well, good for his education from Oxford. Good for him. I hope he makes a difference in the world. Anyway, the second thing you see, I personally have mentioned numerous times before, in one way or another, or in different ways. I have used different type of metaphors to make you understand something, which is the same topic today. This is what is consciousness or what is self-awareness. I have mentioned these terms numerous times before, but this is such a topic that no amount of time is enough, literally, to fully understand. All we can do that through our devotion and through our practice, all we can do is a little more clarity for you to see your fundamental, the very basics of you. You see, all we can do is to bring a little more clarity each time to make you see a little more clearly. Okay, the words or any words from any language, no matter what the language is, cannot explain this in words. You see? The second thing was, a lot of people ask, this is a common question which has been asked through centuries in almost every culture, in every philosophy, and in every religion. These are all human constructs, including religion. And this question has been asked numerous times, that what is God, or what is the nature of God? You see, what is God, or what is the nature of God? I myself included has spoken to this particular topic in the past, and video I posted here and also on YouTube. You see, so to answer different philosophies, different cultures and religions have tried to approach or explain it through words, basically. Religion, philosophies, theories, cultures, these are all human constructs. Religion too. Religion, of course, is man-made. It is not coming from sacred. It is not coming from divine. No matter what religion there is, it's a fact, okay? However, we are not here, or I solely, or personally is not here, basically, to refute, that's the word I'm looking for in English, to refute any religion. That's a petty thing to do for me. I'm beyond and past that. However, I'm telling it for a reason. All different cultures and religion philosophies have approached the answer that what is God, according based on their culture and based on their conditioning, you see. And more or less they would show you either in the pictures or in the teachings on the fairy tales, such as in any religion's secret books. These are all fairy tales, you see. These are stories. These are beautiful stories. You can tell it to other people, but you can, by reading these fairy tales over and over and over and reciting and do whatever you want to do, it would not get you close to any type of truth. Because what you understand as God, or what religion tells you, or different cultures tell you as God, that there is a man. Usually it's a man, by the way, you see. Now God has a gender, and usually that is the picture they try to bring up, that's a masculine figure. If we don't want to call it man, we can say it's a masculine figure sitting with a beard and, huge hair or this or that, and ruling, and, ruling punishments or ruling rewards or whatever. It's watch this now. You don't have to answer the question here, but ask this question. Because if you are watching this video, it automatically means it's a given that you are open to truth. So don't answer the truth, or don't, if you want to comment, that's fine, but I'm saying you don't have to tell me. But just ask the question to yourself and you would find the answer. You see, so all this religion, all these religions, they portray that kind of picture of God, that this is what's happening, something outside of you. Ponder on my question, what I'm about to ask you. The question I'm asking you right now here is, would God exist? Follow me. Follow my words. Would God exist if you did not exist to begin with? Let me repeat the question and rephrase it a little. Would God exist if you did not exist in the very first place? Or if you were not aware of yourself? See, by asking this question, I'm telling you what is awareness, or what is self-awareness, or what is consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So you need to pay attention. So it's the most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, in your life, that you must realize. Because once you realize it, you realize everything. If you did not exist, or if you were not fully aware of yourself, would God exist? That's the question I'm asking. Ponder on the question. Let's be silent and go and retrieve in the state of meditation. The question I am asked, ponder on the question. Excuse me. see? All right, we are coming back. So the fair answer to that question, as far as I perceive reality, would be no. That's the fair answer. And the truthful answer is, if you did not exist, or if you were not self-aware to begin with, there would not be a God. You see what I'm saying? The reason you even understand or comprehend that if there is such a thing, the reason you even understand or comprehend that if there is such a thing as God, it's because you are self-aware. You understand? No matter how hard you look at it, it is very simple. There is no fiction, there is no science involved here. You don't have to go through all these difficult human constructs to know the truth. You can know the truth just like that in any moment. And it's very generic. It's so generic that it's already overlooked and always overlooked. It's so generic, but it's literally right there, the truth. You remember Gautama Siddhartha? Gautama Siddhartha, Buddha, the enlightened, the beautiful Buddha, the Gautama. His name was not Buddha. His name was Gautama Siddhartha. Look it up. Anyway, Gautama Siddhartha said, somebody said, so where's that truth you talk about? And Gautama Siddhartha answered to such a person, is on the tip of your nose. And this is what happens when, without having any clarity in you, you start idealizing. So people thought that the truth is on the tip of our nose, and they started doing all type of freaky things in yoga and started developing all type of headaches and different things. It's a metaphor he used. It means it's so close to you, so close that it's always right here to see, for you to see, so close. But you see, the people, when they are not open to the truth, when they do not see things clearly, then all these human constructs, starting from religion or God, they grow in obscurity. Then you would never get to know your very true fundamental nature. If you need to see that, then you have to be more focused and you have to be more clear. And that's what I am doing. In this presentation, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you more focus and I'm giving you more clarity. Remember, do not be wander off away too far from the question. You see, let's not wander off too far from the question. The question is, if I was not self-aware, if you were not self-aware, it goes to everything in creation. If we were not self-aware, there would not be a God. It's a fact. In order to understand the concept of God, whatever the concept of your God in your mind is, whether it's Islamic God, it's a Christian God, a Jewish God, whatever, these are the three monotheistic religions. That's the term I think I'm looking for. So I mentioned these three. Anyway, there are numerous religions, Scientology, this, that, all these human constructs. No matter whatever the name of the religion is, it's a human construct. However, that's what I'm trying to show you. If you didn't exist to begin with, you see, there would not be a God. You see, there would not be. Because you didn't exist to begin with. So how would you know if there is God or not? You see, you are not existing to begin with, so there is no God. The reason even you understand the concept or the film of, or the movie or the picture of God, whatever that is in your mind, is you are to begin with. You are and you exist. So it exists also. So it looks like, if you are following all my words here, what I'm saying, that it looks like the very God you worship is depending on your existence. Isn't it a fair thing to say? You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying to you, isn't it fair to accomplish the very God you understand according to your religion or your culture or your philosophy exists because you exist in the very first place? If you didn't exist, of course, that God would not exist. So that the existence of that God is depending on your existence. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it? Did I not just prove that a minute ago? If you go back and you listen to my words, I literally proved what I'm saying to you. I literally proved it. No matter how you look at it, I literally proved it. I'm not making a claim, I'm proving it. I'm proving that the concept or the image of God depends because you exist in the very first place. If you didn't exist, that wouldn't exist. It is fair to say that its existence depends on my own existence. It's a given. So when you see that very clearly, you see, when you are not scared by the hellfire, when you are not scared by all these human constructs and fairy tales, when you come out of it, you see, when you come out of all this drama and you see clearly, and when you become fully, when you become fully and 100% aware of that, then you become limitless. You see, you become limitless. Limitless does not mean in the paddy human term or in the paddy human sense. You see, dimensional limitless. I'm not talking about that limitless. You see, that limitless is whatever. I'm talking about the truth. I'm talking about the principle which lays underneath every reality. Then you become that. Then everything changes about you. You go through a total transformation because now you have seen what is out there. You cannot not be the same again. You see, that's what has happened. Excuse me. That's what has happened to me. That I have seen what exists out there. I cannot remain the same as I was before, and it's a beautiful thing. I don't want to remain the same as I was before. I want to experience life with all its immensity, not in some 3-dimension narrow band. Remember the narrow band? Not like that. I want to experience life with all its immensity, and it's immense. So you understand self-awareness. You understand self-awareness and you understand consciousness. You see, the existence of everything, including God, depends on it. You see, that is awareness. That is consciousness. That you are aware. You understand? You are not aware by something. Please know that. Shh. Quiet the mind and listen what I'm saying. You are not aware by something, or you are not aware of something. You are just simply aware. You see, you are aware. You know you are because you are aware. Excuse me. You know that you are because you are simply aware. How do you even know that you exist? Because you are simply aware. That's how you are. So that's very self-awareness is everything. You see, is the birth of the forms, and the forms and shape is the birth of everything that you perceived in your entire life, is the birth of everything what you are perceiving now, and is the birth of everything what you would ever perceive in the future. See, in the future. It's that powerful. It's nothing can be out of it. Nothing. You see, it's that powerful. It's so powerful, it has no boundaries, and nothing can be out of it. Not a thing. Go as far as you can go and see if you can find one thing which is out of it, out of that sense. Because the existence of everything depending on the sense. In order to perceive anything, there has to be something which is going to perceive that. Don't you see that? It's very clear. So you understand now, huh? You understand what is consciousness, what is self-awareness. Now, we'll go a little more further, since I have a little time here. Then we'll go a little more further. Somebody was asking about the God name, or the form of God, or the nature of God. You see what I'm saying? So when I say God, again, please remember what I'm saying. When I say God, the reason I am mentioning the term God is because you would have easy time to comprehend my point. Not long ago I proved it's a concept. It lives in your mind, okay? And the existence of this God depends on your existence. So basically, this God becomes a concept, and your own existence, the sense of being self-aware, becomes God. Isn't it? That's exactly what's happening. The sense of being self-aware becomes God. Because the existence of the concept of God is depending on the sense of self-awareness. That's what we are saying here for last 45 minutes. And it's okay. I want to bring clarity and happiness in your life so you can see more clearly. Even if I am not in the picture tomorrow, but you still see clearly. You have the clarity now, so you can grow further from that. That's what I want to tell you. So the reason I mentioned the term God, because that's the concept in human mind. However, so somebody said that how can we understand the nature of it? So as I said, that there is no God. God is a concept, and the sense of self-awareness is God, basically, is everything. Of course, is everything. The existence of everything is depending on its existence, which is the sense of being aware, or what you understand in a more what you call in a more fancy. If I have to elaborate that, I would say consciousness in a more fancy word, or in a more fancy manner. I would say consciousness, you see. So that's all there is. It's just there, consciousness. You cannot comprehend or objectify what you are. You see, you cannot comprehend or objectify what you are. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring so much clarity in you that's unbelievable. I'm telling you, you cannot... You see, you cannot conceptualize, you cannot objectify, or you cannot imagine through an image or thought that consciousness or the sense of self-awareness, because it has no attributes attached to it that you can do it. You see, that's why it's in every circle, including religious circles, they would tell you that God is omnipotent, the mighty potent. And that's why it is mighty potent. Because it has no... the sense of self-awareness has no objectivity attached to it. Means anything which has no objectivity, it cannot be destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? If it has no objectivity, it is not subject to birth or death. It's always is, always. So God is not something, since I experience it personally when I go in a state of meditation, God is not something that you can objectify, or God is not something that you can name it, or God is not something that you can think about it. It's beyond everything. God is something that you can only dissolve in it. You understand what I'm saying? You, the separate self, the body and mind, God is something that you can dissolve in it. And before I sum up, I will tell you this. The reason all this awareness, all this clarity is extremely significant for you. It's the most important thing in your life that you would know. You see, it's the most important thing. Because as I said, remember, halfway in this very message, I said, the existence of everything depends on self-realization. The more self-realized you are, the more beautiful you would become. And you would spread, it's only natural you would spread that around. You see what I'm saying? It would improve everything starting from your own well-being. You see, I'm not going to mention my age here. However, when I tell people in the conversation, when I feel a little more close to them, when in the conversation I tell them my age, they are baffled. They don't believe. They say, "You're kidding." I said, no. Everything improves in you. The way you carry yourself improves. How your personality is, it improves. Your health improves. Everything improves. The more you bring this clarity, and the more you get close to your real fundamental. That's why it's important. It's important also so you don't suffer. It's important also so you are not scared. You see, that's liberty. That's liberty. When there is no fear, when you are not scared, that one day will be over, because it would never be over. You understand? The birth of the body is subjected to the death of the body, or bodily demise. But what accumulates it, you see, the sense of self-awareness is what you are. Cannot be objectified, cannot be explained in words, cannot be imagined or think. You just can't dissolve in it. You see? So it becomes liberty. It becomes extreme level or extreme concrete feeling of liberty in you. So you don't suffer.